Bitcoin records highest daily close in the history of Bitcoin's existence. Welcome back to the Crypto ZX channel, to the XRP holders. Appreciate you guys as always. Let's take a look at what's happening with XRP right now and, of course, what we could be expecting going into Wednesday morning. If you have not subscribed, guys, what are you waiting for? Hit that red subscribe button. Come join the Crypto ZX army. But if we're looking across the board, we are seeing tremendous amount of green, and that is due to Bitcoin pushing towards all-time highs. If you're looking at XRP, we're up about 0.3% in USD, but we're down about 1.4% in Bitcoin comparative, as to be expected, because of course dominance is still quite high. And BTC is gaining a lot of momentum, so that explains it. Valuation approaching $140 billion, and the 24-hour trading volume at about 2.7 billion. But before we get into any further, as always, just a quick disclaimer: anything on this channel is not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence and research when you are investing in crypto. So, SEC delays spot XRP ETF submitted by 21 shares. We know about this. Again, I did retweet this earlier, but we are starting to see not just XRP, but also Dogecoin spot ETF that was filed by 21 shares has been delayed, but it's all good. Nothing to be getting too worried about. I think it's just part of the game. We need to wait it out. It's clear indication where things are really heading as far as XRP is concerned. Look at the ETF filings that we're seeing over the last few months, and it really shows you who is in the lead for that race. But look at what Senator Cynthia Lumen says. America must lead in digital assets, kind of reflecting on what Donald Trump has said and what he has been saying before he even got elected as a president. He's been emphasizing crypto, how they want US to become the crypto hub, because if not, no problem. It's not that if US doesn't become a crypto hub that other countries are not going to adopt it. They are aware that other countries are at a record level in terms of eyes on the digital asset space, and there's going to be a lot of these big countries coming to this blockchain technology, to the digital assets, bringing regulation and wanting to become the global hub. Because think about it, when it comes to talking about becoming a global hub, more and more big developers, crypto companies, they would want to obviously go into a country that is very good with the adopting of this new technology, and of course becoming a global hub is where majority of that developing goes, and of course it helps the economy, believe it or not, as well, of the country and the well-being, and makes the country advance more in technological side of things as well. And this is where US really is going full force. If you're looking at it from financial services industry, governments, pretty much everything at this point, you are starting to see digital assets being spoken about more than ever before. And look at this, Bitcoin futures open interest hits an all-time high at 74.96 billion. Are we surprised? Because Bitcoin is heading towards new all-time highs, and of course, that itself is not a surprise to me. Look at this. BlackRock spot Bitcoin ETFs bought 2,720 BTC and 17,810 Ethereum on May 2nd. And I totally agree with this. BlackRock isn't playing games. They're super bullish. And going back to what I've said month in, month out, BlackRock is not here for the next 5 months. BlackRock is not here for the next 12 months. They're here for the next long haul, and they want as much exposure to Bitcoin. They want as much Bitcoin in their control. The more Bitcoin they have, the more control they have. And they're buying Bitcoin at a record level. And I still think, this specific move that we're seeing here, it's not even close to retail driven. It's institutional money, big money flowing in, and I think we're going to see retail just completely being priced out from a lot of digital assets as well. And with Bitcoin, I think we're already priced out for retail. Just think about it. How many people can literally go out and just spend $107,000 to buy one Bitcoin? Obviously, a few years back, Bitcoin was dirt cheap. And compared to now where it's at, 107,000, all this money that's flowing in, it's big money flowing in. I'm not saying retail is not coming in, but in a grand scheme of things, it is driven by institutional interest coming into Bitcoin. And BlackRock, purchasing BTC the likes of MicroStrategy, a lot of other big companies that are coming in. They're buying Bitcoin not for the short term. They want to buy it for the long term because they understand, the potential that Bitcoin really has. And look at this. Speaking about the potential, Mayor of the New York City, Eric Adams, announces the launch of the Crypto Advisory Council at the NYC Crypto Summit. And as long as, shout out to Chad, as long as there are those that remember what was, there will always be those that are unable to accept what can be. They will resist the XRP weekly moving average 30 nearly merging with the weekly moving average, which is the 10-day moving average. Very, very interesting. And of course, with the things, Bitcoin, the way things are looking, I think, we are going to see some nice, exciting stuff happening for our good old friend XRP as well. But look at this, look at this, guys. Our recent legal analysis from William and Mary Law School, the oldest existing law school in the U.S., suggests XRP buyers, procured a slice of Ripple's futures cash flow. The report, authored by, the University of Texas law professor James, published in May of 2025, asserts that XRP buyers essentially acquired an economic interest in Ripple's future revenue streams. However, it also suggests a legal gray area that complicates the situation. Smoke, of course, shout out to Smoke, an independent crypto researcher, first brought the academic report to public attention in a post on X, triggering a discussion within the XRP community. So XRP holders have bought a slice of Ripple's future cash flow. It suggests that investors are seen as betting on Ripple's long-term profitability, specifically revenue from its blockchain-based transaction settlement system when they purchase XRP. The report argued that XRP's value hinges on the success of Ripple infrastructure. Of course, XRP ledger needs to be adopted. Ripple payments need to be adopted, which it's being done. Look at the expansion for Ripple over the last 10 years. They have come a long, long way. A lot of people overlook that, but on this channel, we don't want to be overlooking that. And of course, this is where, XRP's value increases. It's the native token to the blockchain itself. So as the blockchain gets adopted more, from, these big financial industries, that could come on board and start using the XRP ledger to, tokenize assets. Speaking about tokenization, another topic that is at the forefront of a lot of financial institutions and a lot of big, companies. And that really tells you where XRP ledger is really setting itself up for. And, as we are seeing regulation coming in, I think it's just that one-stop shop. And of course, this will have a positive impact on the price of XRP because, of course, XRP plays a focal point in providing liquidity to the, XRP ledger. So it kind of goes hand in hand. So you can see, XRP's utility differentiates from its normal bonds. We're going to kind of leave that and look at this, the lawsuit, we know about that, but I just want to kind of talk about this. Despite this, the report also calls attention to an important nuance. It claims that XRP doesn't provide a formal investor protection typically associated with securities such as enforceable rights or disclosures under the SEC regulation. Of course, that is clear, and that's the thing with crypto, and this is where your due diligence and research comes into play. Very, very important to do that. If you have done your due diligence research and have invested where you can afford to lose, then patience is your number one key to follow. But if you're looking at also, with this article, you're starting to see, professors, universities paying attention to blockchain technology. A few years back, that was not the case, and now it's happening at a very, very fast pace. But if you're looking at the dominance here, it is sitting at about 63.9%. Obviously, it's still quite high compared to where we were just a week back. If you're looking at BTC right now, let's give it a refresh live. BTC is on the verge of breaking out to $108,000 yet again, hitting a new yearly high. Bitcoin is on the verge of breaking towards an all-time high, guys. We are very, very close right now. If you want to put this into perspective, it's only a 1.6% move for us to retest that. I do personally project a little bit of a rejection at that all-time high because, of course, that is a key resistance. But things are looking great for BTC. If you're looking at XRP right now, it is obviously reacting in a positive way to this Bitcoin move. Obviously, it's not exploding, obviously due to Bitcoin dominance. And I do believe a lot of haters are going to be left speechless because around the 0.50 fib zone retest, there were a lot of haters at that time. And since then, the price of XRP has gone up 63%. And right now, believe it or not, there's still a lot of haters because the price is not heading towards an all-time high. But it's going to happen fast, believe it or not. Right now, yes, Bitcoin has a lot of eyes on itself, but once we get into the 23.6 and really start pushing up to that 284, I think it is go time for XRP. But let me know down below what you guys think. Thank you for all your support. We'll see you later in Crypto ZX, and peace out.